Hey everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. It's that time again. What time is it? It is time for another puzzle mystery quilt. This time we are starting off with Tree of Life, the Spring 2024 Puzzle Mystery Quilt. I almost said 2023. The Spring 2024 Puzzle Mystery Quilt. So excited to be doing another one, and a huge shout out to Cotton Cuts for allowing me to do these videos and help everybody out. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always leave me a comment down in the comment section or send an email to me. And don't forget that ambassadors have both the large and small clue instructions. So if you ever need any help, you can reach out to any of the ambassadors and ask for some assistance. Or if you need some other kind of help, reach out to Cotton Cuts, help@cottoncuts.com. You can email them and get some help with anything that you may need with your puzzle mystery quilt. Now, if you've never done a puzzle mystery quilt with me before, I make sure to include some tips and tricks in my video to make sure to help you get used to working with the puzzle mystery quilt, and some things that you may not know, some things that you may know, all sorts of different info pieces that can be helpful along the way. And if you are ever stuck in a certain area and want to go to that specific area, I do add timestamps onto my video. There are actually chapters underneath this video right now. If you go, take your mouse and hover over the timeline of this video, for you it would be going this way. I forget I'm backwards. Anyways, down in the timeline, you'll actually see it's broken up into chapters, and that way you can find the specific area that you're having problems with, and you can pinpoint exactly where you need to go into that video to find out what is going on and how I can hopefully help you with that problem. And I do this on all of my videos here for the Puzzle Mystery Quilt. So as you're going along, when we get to clues 2, 3, 4, 5, all of them, there's actually going to be that chapters listed off down in the description, and of course along the timeline of each video, so that way you can get down and get down into the specifics that you're looking for. Get down, dance, okay. Get down into the specifics of what you're looking for, and then you can find out exactly where you need to go. You just click that chapter and it'll take you right there. So I hope that information is helpful, and any other information along the way, I hope you find that helpful as well. And of course, if you like the videos, give it a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that you liked my videos. And then hopefully YouTube will share it out so that other Puzzle Mystery Quilt, I almost said contestants. That's not the word I was looking for. So that other Puzzle Mystery Quilt detectives can hopefully find this video as well using their sleuthing skills. All right, this is kind of all over the place. Let's stop talking and get into what you get in the clue packet and start putting together our first clue of Tree of Life. I'm excited for this one, so let's go ahead and get started putting together clue number 1. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at everything that should be included with clue 1, even if you did it. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what is included with month 1. If you did month to month, this should be everything in your packet. If you did a if you paid for everything all at once, then this should also be included, but then you'll of course have all of your other clues in there as well. First thing that we have is of course the color guide and booklet and information. This is like your main focus of attention when you have any types of questions about the Puzzle Mystery Quilt. I'm going to be doing the colorway Radiance. Thank you, Becca, so much for giving me that one. And inside, on the back side, I should start off with, this gives us the Deco Glow by Juicy Juice. So it'll tell you what your fabric is and the designer and all that kind of information. And then it lists off each individual color and what letter it corresponds to. And then of course your binding down here at the bottom. So if you do not want to lose this, I would highly recommend taking a picture of it, putting it on your phone, so that way you always have it. Plus, you can re-download these from the Cotton Cuts website. When you placed an order, it actually generated one of these guides in your account. So all you have to do is go into your account on Cotton Cuts and you can actually print out another one. I printed mine out and I printed it backwards. So when you open it, it's backwards. But when you open it up inside, as I magically flip it over, the first thing that you see on the left side here is some tips and tricks. So keep your fabric card, the painted grays on the shape of the the printed grays of the shapes on the instructions do not coordinate to your fabric colors. So as you're looking at your instructions, don't freak out if the gray block corresponds to a dark color on your actual fabric. So they had to print out all the instructions for everyone, and so that's why it kind of has to fit for everyone. So take a look at these tips and tricks. There's some important things to go over. And then we also have the Tree of Life shipping dates here in this orange box. So we have listed out all of the shipping dates. Go ahead and add those to your calendar to help you remember when they're going to be shipping. It is going to be shipping on the first Friday of every month. So just remember that. But here are all the dates that you need to remember. And like I said, put it in your calendar. That way you don't have to worry about it. We also have the information for signing up for the next Puzzle Mystery Quilt, which I can't believe we're already talking about the next one as we're just starting this one. But the Fall 2024 Puzzle Mystery Quilt opens up on May 31st with the first clues shipping on July 26th. So can't wait for that. We also have the Secret Mystery Quilters Facebook group. So if you're not a member of that Facebook group yet, make sure to go check that out and get added into it. And then if you have any questions at any time during the Puzzle Mystery Quilt, you can email help@cottoncuts.com. That is your way to get any kind of information, or if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to check that website or to email them and they will answer you back as soon as they can. All right, there we go. Did I trip over my words enough for you during that? Sorry about that. I'm just so excited to get started. So that is very important. Make sure to hold on to this. Put it in a safe place. You're going to need it every single month because of that color guide on the back. So make sure to hold on to this. Don't file it away somewhere. Don't throw it in the shredder. Don't throw it into recycling. Make sure to hang on to it, and you'll be using it for each of the 10 clues. All right, moving on. If you ordered the optional thread packet, you will get that in your clue 1. So for Radiance, I have a turquoise, an orange, and a yellow thread, and then my main thread is the white thread. And don't forget that this was optional as you were purchasing your Puzzle Mystery Quilt. So if you did not select to add that onto your Puzzle Mystery Quilt, it will not be included in your packet. Another add-on that you could have added onto the Puzzle Mystery Quilt was your Oops Kit. So I do have an Oops Kit. It has all of the colors in your colorway, and if I was to make a boo-boo, say that I sewed something and my machine tried to eat it, you know, something like that, you can use these fabrics to replace that piece. It's so that way you can just have seamless sewing. You don't have to worry about writing into Cotton Cuts and asking for another one. However, do not hesitate to email Cotton Cuts. Remember, help@cottoncuts.com. Feel free to send them an email, and if your clue packet is short, like say for instance you didn't have enough of piece A or any of the pieces, feel free to email Cotton Cuts and say, hey, I unfortunately did not have whatever piece it was, could you please send me one? And they will be working to get that worked on. But if you don't want to wait, you can always use one of your Oops Kits. Most of the time I don't use my Oops Kits, but every now and again I do make an oopsie and I do need to pull one of them out. But if I don't end up using any of them, then I usually will create something using them at the end of the project and then add that into my quilt. So like I like to add extra borders, and I'll usually create an element that reflects in the designs and patterns that I see in my quilt. So I'll usually grab some of these fabrics and create something to go along with my quilt. These are, I think they're less than fat 8s, but it's a good amount to just get that one little problem piece fixed or recreated or whatever. So if you had an Oops Kit and added that on, that will be in your packet number 1. And if you didn't end up adding these onto your Puzzle Mystery Quilt and you are now thinking back and going, wow, I really wish I had ordered that, you can always email help@cottoncuts.com and explain the situation. And I'm sure that they will be able to help you in any way that you need to get you set up and ready for your first clue. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I have my clue packet 1 that has all the pieces that I'm going to need for clue 1. And then of course I have my instructions. Now remember, if you get your package every month in the mail, these instructions will be included in it. However, if you bought it in bulk and bought everything all at once, these clues are going to be emailed to you. So make sure to check your email, make sure to check that junk mail folder, make sure that you are getting these. And again, if you're not able to access them, if you're not getting them to your email, email help@cottoncuts.com. How many times have I said that? I don't know. I should probably put a counter. But anyways, so we're going to take a look at what pieces are included in clue number 1. And right off the bat, for clue number 1, I got a little goodie. I have a patch. I think this is an iron-on patch of the Cotton Cuts logo. Which way does it go? There you go. I had to look at the R to tell me which way it went. But anyways, I have a patch that I can add on to something. Not sure what, but I'll figure something to add this to. But have a little goodie in clue packet number 1. Okay, getting into the fabric, I have 2 long rectangles of fabric C. I have 2 smaller rectangles, or shorter rectangles, however you want to put that, of fabric C. I have 4 squares of fabric F. I have 8 squares of fabric C. I have 4 squares of fabric A. Next up, I have 16 triangles, small triangles of fabric B. And after that, I have 16 small triangles of fabric C. Next up, I have 4 large triangles of fabric A as I try and fit it here onto the screen. There we go. And last but certainly not least, I have 4 very large triangles of fabric F. That's going to be everything that's included in this first clue. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of these, put these onto the table next to me. I'm loving these colors already. In fact, I think fabric F is my favorite so far. I'm going to go ahead and put these on the table next to me, and we'll get started with step number 1. All right, we're going to be starting section 1A. You'll be making 4 of section 1A, and the instructions below will let us know how to make all the sections at the same time. Starting off with step number 1, and by the way, if you are new to the Puzzle Mystery Quilt, we are going to be using 1/4 inch seams. For step number 1, it says to sew a small B triangle to the left of an F square. So we're going to sew this together just like this. We're going to press carefully to avoid stretching the biased edges, and then we're going to add a second B triangle to the top, and we're going to press carefully again. Whenever we're pressing, if you look at the instructions, it has little arrows on it that are pointing away from the F block. So what we're going to be doing is, that is our pressing instructions. So whenever we put our first triangle on, we're going to go ahead and press that towards our B fabric, and then we're going to come back in and we're going to sew the B fabric on top, and then we're going to press towards our B fabric. We are dealing with biased edges along our triangles, so we do need to be careful not to stretch those out. But I'm going to go ahead and sew all 4 of those together, and I'm going to come back when I'm pressing out the second portion. So I'm going to go ahead and sew all of these first. I'm going to press them, and then I'm going to go back in and sew the top part on. And then when I'm pressing that top part out, I will come back and meet you back here. All right, there we go. I have gone ahead and sewn all those together, and I am now pressing towards my B fabric, just like so. I have 4 of those. Let's go ahead and move on to step 2. All right, moving on to step 2, it says to sew a large F triangle to step 1, and we're going to make 4 of those. So super easy instructions. All we're doing is just sewing along that seam line right there. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and when we press, we're going to be pressing towards our large F triangle, and I'll come back and get that done after I sew all 4 of them. All right, I have sewn all 4 of those together, and now I am just pressing them out, and we're going to be pressing again towards our large F triangle. And mine are a little wonky, but I always tell, if you're new to the Puzzle Mystery Quilt, I always tell you that finished is always better than perfect. So there we go. There are the 4 of step number 2. Let's go ahead and move on to step number 3. Okay, moving on to step number 3, it says we're going to sew a small C triangle to a small B triangle, and we're going to make 8 of these. So I'm just going to put these together like this. I'm going to go ahead and sew 8 of these half square triangles, and we'll be pressing it towards our C fabric. I was trying to figure out what else to say, but we got to press towards our C fabric. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come back when I'm pressing out the last one. All right, I have sewn all of those together, and now I'm pressing towards my C fabric. Which I think in this puzzle mystery quilt, I'm going to get a little confused between my B and C fabric because one is yellow and one is orange. So I'm definitely going to get them kind of confused a little bit. By the way, if you've never watched me do the puzzle mystery quilt before, tip the 4 half square triangles to get them to square up a little more straight. I'll push up this way first, come back down, and then I'll turn and push out, and then I'll just kind of press it from there. So that's how I do my half square triangles. Let's go ahead and move on to step number 4. Okay, moving on to step number 4, it says to sew a C-square to the left of 4 of step number 3. So we're going to sew those together like that, but you may have noticed that we did 8 of step number 3. We're actually setting 4 of these aside, so we're not going to use these. So pay attention, don't go hog wild and just start sewing all these together. We are going to make 4 of the C square next to the CB half square triangle. Let's go ahead and do that, and I'll come back when I'm pressing it out. Okay, I've sewn all 4 of those together, and now I'm pressing it out. We're going to be pressing towards our half square triangle, which may be a little difficult in the corner that has all the bulk, but so far I've kind of made it work. It has gotten a little warped, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. I've never had a problem with a little bit of warping and a little bit of moving. Finished is better than perfect. All right, let's go ahead and move on to step number 5. Okay, moving on to step number 5, it says to join a step 4 to the bottom of a step 2, and we're going to make 4 of these. And really nice, we have a nesting seam right here. So whenever I put these together, I'm going to focus in on that nesting seam to make sure that I'm getting everything lined up. I'm going to go ahead and sew 4 of these, and I'll come back when I'm pressing them out. Alrighty, I have finished sewing. I was about to say I've finished pressing. No, that's what I'm doing right now. I have finished sewing that step 4 onto our step 2. So it looks like this. We're pressing towards our, and I just pressed that the wrong way. Did I do all of them the wrong way? I sure did. I pressed all of them the wrong way, except the first one, I think. Yep, first one's good. So I'm going to go back and repress those. But you're supposed to be pressing towards the top of the block, so up towards your large F triangle. I'm going to go back through and press all those to make sure that I get them going the right way. All right, moving on to step number 6, it says to sew a C square to the top of a step 3 unit. So our C fabric will be lining up, and then we're going to be adding a square to the bottom, and we're going to make 4. So remember, we separated out 4 of these CB half square triangles. We're going to pull those in now, and I'm going to go ahead and sew them together just like this. We're going to create this column just like so. I'm going to go ahead and sew all of those together, and then I'll come back when it's time to press it out. And by the way, we're pressing down to the bottom, so we're pressing towards our A fabric. Okay, I've sewn all 4 of those together, and now I'm pressing towards my A fabric, so down towards the bottom. And I have 4 of them, and I'm stalling for time. There we go. All right, so I have 4 of those. They look like this. Let's go ahead and move on to step number 7. All right, moving on to step 7, it says to join a step 6 to the right of a step 5, and we're going to make 4 of these. And we have our points right here. Let me see, do these nest? I believe they, well, if I pressed it correctly, it would. Yes, these do nest. I've got to go back in and do a little cleanup there. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and sew those together. And we're making 4 of those. So it looks something like this. Our C triangle should be both pointing in the same direction, and our B triangles should also be pointing in the same direction. I'm going to go ahead and sew all this together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Okay, there we go. I didn't catch myself pressing the last one, but basically you're going to take your C, CB, A row, and you're going to be pressing towards the left. And this is our step 7 complete. In fact, it's our section 1A complete. You're going to mark this as either section 1A or clue 1A. It doesn't really matter which way you label it, as long as you label it as something that's 1A, you will be fine. It does have the measurements. It says it's supposed to measure 9.5 by 9.5, but if you've never done the Puzzle Mystery Quilt before, I don't worry about the measurements. As long as I keep a consistent 1/4 inch that is on my machine, that's all I care about. So I don't ever measure these. As if they're really off, I will, but most of the time mine come out very close, and so I just leave it be. So that is our section 1A. Let's move on to sections 1B and 1C. I don't ever remember doing a B and C on any of the previous ones. I don't feel like I've done B and C. It's usually just A and B. Without the C. But anyways, here we go. We're going to move on to sections 1B and 1C. First step is going to be to sew a small C triangle to the top right of a medium A triangle. So here's our medium A triangle, and we're going to sew our A to the right of that. We're going to press that. And then we're going to add a second C triangle to the top left. We're making a flying geese block is basically what we're doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and sew these on, and I'm going to come back when I'm pressing out after I finish putting on both sides. So I'm going to put on both sides, and then I'll meet you here whenever I'm pressing out this left side. So whenever I'm pressing out my flying geese, I press them the same way that I do my half square triangles. I open up my triangle a little bit, and I go press up, back down, and then over, and that really seems to help square up those flying geese a little bit better by doing it that way. So that is our step number 1. Let's move on to step number 2. All right, for step number 2, it says to take 2 of the step 1 units, and we're going to add a small C rectangle to the left, and we're going to make 2 of these. So we're just going to pull 2 of our flying geese. That's what I was trying to say. We're going to pull 2 of our flying geese, and we're going to add on the small C rectangle to the left. I'm going to go ahead and sew that, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Okay, I've completed sewing those together. Did not take long at all. And now I'm pressing it. We're going to press it towards our C rectangle that we just added on. So there we go. That's what it looks like when it's all said and done. We have 2 of those, and we're going to label these as section 1B. Moving on to our step 3, we're going to take the remaining 2 step 1 units, and we're going to add the large rectangle of C to the left, just like this. I'm going to go ahead and sew these together, and I'll come back when I'm pressing it out. Okay, there we go. I have sewn those 2 together, and it says we are going to label these as section 1C, clue 1C, whichever way you want to put that. But there we go. That is 1C. All right, guys, there we go. We have completed our 1A, 1B, and 1C. If this was your first Puzzle Mystery Quilt clue, congratulations. You have completed the first one, and we only have 9 more months to go before we find out what this looks like. Super excited for that, and I'm really loving this colorway. It is so bright and in your face, and I love it. Can't wait to see what the next 9 months has in store for us.